This is Screenburn TV, and this is Anselmo as well. And today is the first episode of Random Games with Random Names. Just a little there's a little show where I can just kind of put some of the games that I've played into context and just kind of talk about them, kind of split them up into categories and just talk about games that I've played and maybe I've liked, maybe I haven't liked. But yeah, hope you guys like. Today's first episode is going to be on Xenoblade Chronicles X. Okay, let's just go ahead and start this talk with how much I love the Xeno series. Now, how much do I love the Xeno series? There's a lot, and then there's like a lot, and then there's like, okay, dude, we get it. You like it. Mine's kind of in the middle of the second and third one. But I digress. I love the Xeno series, and I was really excited to get my hands on Chronicles X. I didn't get to pick it up last year. Picked it up about maybe a month ago. But yeah, it is not a sequel. Let's start with it. It's not a sequel to Xenoblade Chronicles. I mean, I could kind of explain to you how all the Xeno games are connected thematically and conceptually and all that stuff, but that's a whole nother conversation. Let's just say you don't have to play Xenoblade Chronicles to play Xenoblade Chronicles X. Now, like I said before, I kind of split things up into different segments of the video game. So we're going to start out with graphics. Now, the graphics in this game, they're pretty good. I mean, let me take that back. They're great for the Wii U. It's pretty much going to be the best we get on the Wii U. Let's be honest. The draw distance is really just plain impressive. I mean, you can see stuff so far away. It's crazy. It's crazy how far the draw distance is. And in a game like this, that really is the most important thing. Because it's so built on open world that without a good draw distance, you can even have weak texture work and weak, all around resolution. But as long as you have a really good draw distance, a lot can be forgiven. Now, speaking of texture work, all around the texture work is really good. Again, especially for the Wii U. I'm not trying to bash the Wii U. I love the Wii U. But, let's be honest, they're not exactly a powerhouse when it comes to graphics. But the texture work is really good. I never had any sort of resolution blurring or bad texture work. It was really good. Excuse me. Now on to the actual design of the game and the aesthetic. It has a really cool, kind of a minimalist, cold sci-fi kind of aesthetic to it generally. The character designs, I gotta admit, I'm not a huge fan of the character designs. Most of the time, they're almost too anime-esque, if you know what I mean. The eyes are just ridiculously large sometimes, and the proportions are just... It screams anime, which I'm fine with. I love anime, but sometimes it was a little too much. But all around, the graphics and the aesthetic of the game is awesome. The enemy designs are freaking sweet. The design of the world itself is really, really sweet. It's just sweet. yeah, all around graphics, thumbs up. Now, next up is going to be sound, music, and voice. So the sound design is all around solid, with really nice weather and weapon effects. I just can't really you can't really go wrong with a lot of the sound choices in this game. I never really heard anything that I was just like, that doesn't sound right. But the music is the music is strange. The music is kind of a mixed bag. It's kind of a mix between kind of your traditional orchestrated tracks and vocal tracks. A lot of modern vocal tracks that mixes in hip hop and pop and techno and all this weird. It's a weird soundtrack, and it, just like the character designs, it can be very anime-esque at times, almost a little too anime. But it's very strange because I really enjoy the soundtrack when I'm playing the game. It fits the atmosphere correctly. It fits the character designs. It fits the world. It fits everything perfectly while you're playing the game. But man, I tried to listen to this on its own, like outside of the game. It's kind of cringeworthy at times. Not the orchestrated tracks, but the vocal tracks can sometimes be, a little cringy. But like I said before, within the context of the game, the songs are awesome within the context of the game. Now, the voice work, there is quite a bit of voice work. Majority of it is really well done. Now, the main protagonist, you, the player, you're not a voiced protagonist, you're a silent protagonist. Which, if you've ever played a Xeno game, that's very, very weird to have a protagonist that's silent. It's weird. It's just weird. It took me a bit to get used to it, and I eventually did get used to it, because it ended up... Yeah, I don't want to spoil anything story-wise. But it works. It works. But everyone else, the voice work is actually really well done. I actually liked the voice work a lot in this game. Alright, next up is gameplay and mechanics. Almost all the mechanics in the game are pretty much focused around exploration. For example, just like in Xenoblade Chronicles, you would have these little glowing item crystals kind of strewn about the world. And just like in Xenoblade Chronicles, it reminded me so much of Pac-Man. Of just like going around and just almost mindlessly eating these little dots. Now, you're probably thinking, what does that have to do with exploration? It really kind of... I can't explain it. It just kind of pushes you to keep going. You know what I mean? It's just another little tiny... Whoop, hey, you wanna explore over here? Huh? Whoop, what about that? You want to see what that is? You want to come over here? Whoop, hey, there's another one over here. You want to see what's over here? Whoop, and it's just like little breadcrumbs, like it's a little trail that you just follow. They're everywhere, and it was so hard for me to stop exploring in this game. It was just fun. There's an auto run system, which is okay. From now on, every exploration open world based game should have an auto run function. Because when you're out on the open field and you want to go 3 miles away, but it's a straight line, you got to sit there and just push your thumb on the analog stick. But in Xenoblade Chronicles X, there has to be a better name for that. Chronicles X, you just push a combination of 2 buttons and you go in that direction, and it really works wonders. I think more games should utilize that. But yeah, all the mechanics in the game, like I said, they're all focused around exploration, and they're all very deep. They're all separate, but they kind of end up being connected. But yeah, in general, it's a very, very fun exploration-based action RPG. Now, that being said, it's very deep. It's full of countless little tiny mechanical gameplay things. The thing about that, there's not a lot of tutorials in this game. Now, I don't mind there not being tutorials, because I still read manuals when they're present. There is a manual in this game, and it is a huge manual. It's the biggest manual I have seen for a video game in a while. Unfortunately, it's not a physical manual. It's a digital in-game manual. This might be a plus or a minus, just depends on the gamer, but reading that in-game manual is a must. Because if you don't, you're going to miss so many mechanics. You're going to miss... The game is going to be so much more difficult than it needs to be. And you really need to read every detail of that manual, because there's a lot of stuff. There's even stuff in the game manual that is missing. That there's just so much information that even they missed some. But yeah, everything about the game is really fun. The combat's fast and action oriented, but it's still deep and robust enough to remain pretty strategic. You can't just, it may resemble an MMO-ish kind of thing, but it's much more strategic than at first glance. All right, now on to story and narrative. Now, like I said before, I'm a huge Xeno game fan person. Xenophile. Oh, that's weird. And really, the main thing that I got into the Xeno series for was the story. And progressively, through every iteration by MonolithSoft, the story just gets lighter and lighter. And this game, by far, has the lightest story in any Xeno game. Now, you might think, that's automatically a net negative. But it actually kind of works. It kind of works within the game story setup. And, the whole concept of the game, of the exploration, teamwork and stuff. It really works. Would I want more story? Duh. Would I want a voiced protagonist? Duh. But you know what? I didn't get it. And I'll be okay. Alright. And up to fun factor and replayability. Fun factor is probably the most important thing in a game for me. And this game is just plain fun to play. I literally could not stop exploring. I haven't really done that in a game since probably Oblivion was last time I stepped into a virtual world and literally could not stop picking a direction and walking and being like, what's over that hill? I need to know what's over that hill. It's just plain fun to play. Now, there is no new game plus, but this game is so goddamn huge. You really, you want new game plus? There is post-game content, so if you beat the main story, don't worry about it. You can keep on playing, keep on doing all the side stories, all the side quests, all that awesome stuff. There's so much to do in this game. This game is worth more than $60, to tell you the truth. Anybody who is willing to kind of look past kind of the overtly anime aesthetic and music, there's a gem here. If you're really into exploration games, definitely give it a try. The game, I did come across a few glitches and a few design flaws. It's not a perfect game. The Xeno series has never given birth to a perfect game. They've always been about high concept is so much more important than a solid product. Games with big ideas that might sacrifice stability for trying something new. And they definitely tried something new in this one, and I think it succeeded. Anyone interested in this game should definitely try it out. It's a great one. Thanks for watching, guys. This has been Screenburn TV. I'm Anselmo. You guys have a beautiful day.